kale ziro ezindi nka musanju munana niziba nizetorora mwanya gwazo ziba nizetorora mwanya gwazo baitu n eri amalizo hati zone zingambire hezo n niyo kuzikira kuba yembaganiza mu mulingo ngu niyo eroho obwomezi bwona bwosobola kutekerezaho obwomezi bwona obw'omulingo gwona obwomezi bw'abantu obwomezi bw'ebisoro obwomezi bw'ebimera obwomezi obw'ebihangirwe byona koko osobola kubitekerezaho. To the planet with life, the planet having life or with life or where life exists. Ezindi esigaire ezo ziroho nuko ziti nibagenda nk'ebyoburambuzi hali ebintu ebindi obundi ebyomugaso n'omuhendo ebitaine hanu baitu busaho ekisobora kwengana obwomezi omugaso hansi y'iguru, below the heavens. Nothing as important, as valuable or useful like life. Entekaniza eno nekorwa mu ndimi ibiri. Olulimi lw'okubanza nilwo nukubaza olulimi Rutoro kandi olulimi lw'akabiri nilulimi Olungereza. N'ensonga eri ngu olwaitu runo habwokuba ngu notule waitu Toro hano kandi ni Mutoro, yes, baitu ensonga enkuru muno Olungereza habwokuba ngu bengi niturumanya ekyo tikyakubereka ekikuru ekihinguraine kwinganaho baitu rwensi yona kandi 40 TV okuraba satellite na channels ezindi nehereza ensi yona kandi teri nsi yona niwangu nobwekuba Uganda yonka kugamba ngu abantu bengi nibamanya Olunyoro Olutoro tibakurumanya tibarumanyire hari abatamanya nawe Olubayo tibakutekereza nakitekereza kandi abo bona twetaaga tubahereze habwokuba niho tukwija kuyaba kutuhereza kutuha emirimo n'ebyo kukora ebyobusuubuzi ebyokurukanganiza TVN. Habo buli obu niba ninkozesa muno Olungereza kitali batalibaniza baitu n'Olutoro nitamurukeruke baitu nimanya ekirungi kya Toro n'ebicweka barikuhurra olulimi runo Olungereza bengi nibarumanya hakire bengi nibamanya horo kubasobozesa kutegereza ekirikugambwa kiki nubwo atamanya rwingi muno nake na buli kintu kyona baitu hakire kugira nkoko yahondera mulingo gumu rundi ogundi. Kale namara kubarangira entekaniza eno kandi hati reka ndagale ebintu ebimu ebike ebintu kusemerera okubazaho nimbaza jali kutabarukya takatabarukize kuhumuza emitima yabo bona abatalibanizibwa mulingo gumu rundi ogundi mu bitekerezo no munyikara zona no mibiri kusasa kurwara kubihizibwa ebintu kebi baitu kiramu n'abaferirwe abantu babo banyana babo abozali bwabo abantu abamanyire abantu kabo nabali mukusalirwa kurwa abantu babo nigoza kubahumuza habo kuba twena tukwatwa nk'abantu usata fera munsi muno usata rwara kandi atarwaza kandi usasora atasora kwaho obulemezi nko nabweke murege muhumwira uko cya buri muntu wena kandi ndagamanta nuko kiri nk'ekiragiro nikibaho. Ekyakabiri ningoza kutabarukya abantu abatungire birungi byokusemererwamu ebyobuswezi kweranga mageni gataligamu mukoro y'amaani ekitiinisendi yona kuzarwa kwekebero ebyomuntu kwijuka amazarwa ge kujaguza ebintu kusana biti ngoza kubatabarukya mwebali kweka amasemererwa nkago nanyowe umutima okwensemererwa nainywe mwebali muno mukama katugamba mukama simu habweka boko inywe nanyowe tutino busobozi okwemara rugamba ngu ntujja kukola ebintu byona mumandi gaitu n'obusobozi bwaitu mukama atatuheera omugisa kandi nokutukonyera akatukwatira tukaikara tuli bomezi. Ekintu ekindi ningoza kutabarukya abantu ababaire Namugongo, Kampala, Uganda nambere tuli ensi abokoramaga kwabaire ebiro kwezi 3 by'okwezi kuno kwa mukaaga omwaka guno 2025 abantu abenyikiriza Kristo ndi Kristayo Christendom besoroleza mukikale ekyo buli ebiro kwezi 3 ebya buli kwezi kwa mukaaga buli mwaka hati emyaka nyingi. Nibijuka abaferire dini abakweta bakaiso mu lulimi rundi rundi mu Lungereza martyrs, those who gave and sacrificed their lives for the sake of Christ and were killed by the kings at the time. Mu 1898 nendi oko tarantijuka mukama wa Buganda mukama Mwanga Kasumyako akaragira kwitwa kwa abantu bengi akabatarkwetaga abakwikiriza mu dini ya Kristo ndio Kristayo ndio Kristo nabweki obahera amagezi abantu babireke n'ebintu bindi abantu abambalemeraho ako akamanyire ko bakwikiriza yamalira ragire kubaita kandi babaita bengi bakabaita kubi na batema na chumita na batera na bakura na miringo nyingi muno eno musi yatoro kun haroho omhalibo wakira kumanywa Adolf Tibe yalirwa mwana zarwa ya Katosa mtamkanso ya Chenjojo mu district ya Chenjojo hati kichoka kino cha Toro na walio mahali abakaisa abejukwa abakufere din so hati abantu barubate ngendo stalizimu hata likurwa mu Uganda honka baitu no kugahere Uganda hanka Zambia Kenya Tanzania na hande hona abingi barubata baitu ningira bahara abo nibaheka mu biruka nibarubata baliheka baitu hati aba Uganda barikiro bwingi abaragenda kuramaga pilgrimage barubata na kuno forpoto barugayo na gulo kuona barugayo mbale nkaha nibagenda mukikalecho basibayo barugarwe baje abandi barara mu Kampala bazinduka nweje ngwaza ko batabarucha kikuru muno omuntu kugonza no kutaho mutima no kujukaga icyo kura mutima gwabo nginicho with that conviction. So I'm congratulating all of you, the pilgrims who were on the Martyrs' Day, 3rd of June this year in Namugongo, Kampala. Congratulations for that conviction, for that deep faith in your Lord and our Lord Jesus Christ. Congratulations. Abandi abakoze kutabarucha nibo bagenzi bitu abenyikiriza Islam abagira muyebezo wabo Nabi Muhammad bakaba nabo bagira ebiro bingiho actually mu mwaka bajaguza cyonka ekemhalivyo ekirugire kujaguza bwejweri bunu irokwese bitano yes kwese bitano no mukaga ijo berge musanje ya mukaga cyari kiro ecyo kwijuka Ibrahim rundi Abraham hobo yahaire cyonzira harusozi bakaba nagenda kuhonga umwana we Isaac or Isaac habugonza muno ruhanga kandi akaba nagoza kongera ruhanga ikihungo cyembaganiza yatwara umwana harusozi umwana yakaguza ngutata kandi katwagenda omuro tugwine ikipanga tukine ndi omucho kurasala ikihongo kandi ikihongo kantarikirora yamugambi yotafata tugende ikihongo kiro hati ikiroku atekanizo muro yakwata omwana kujya kumusara kumuhongera mukama gamba deka webali ndozire kwikiriza kwao no kongoza kwao hati kate ikihongo kindi omwana muleke baitu kugumize ko muntu akungoza edini kutugambira ati bihandikiro bya Bible so nubo arora Ibrahim arora entama nkoto muno the ram eri mu bihuru mu rusaka nkairo mu bihuru tagategere ya mahembe ganyuire gati nkoto muno naba jete ngundu timanyire so yagihayo niyo yize ya Sara yayo cyao ya hongwa hari mukama hati abantu abo ekirecho bakijuka nkekero kikuru muntu hakireke basare bisoro ente yambuze yakoko ni balya betu nibagabira n'abantu abandi okira muri aba bantu abatakusobora kurungi kwekya bintu kebe ko mukubi nkatugambe nyama ni particular abantu abo babagabira so ekirecho kibaho kiba kikuru muno mu ihanga lino nacyo kihumurwa ingara lengo ronsiona tiza a public holiday echo kabaho ngoza kutabari cya Islamu yabari kujoka gekirecho no kugumzamu no hayo hali ruhanga ala kugira mkitabu cheke kwera kusikira nyikiriza yanyu ku ruhande kandi no gozaga abantu bagenzi banyu okubaha ebimuba mutekanize okubaha congratulations mutabaruke. So I was congratulating the Muslim community for their great day of Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Adha, it's a day of remembering, it is a day of sacrifice. Sacrifice. I've narrated the story of Ibrahim or Abram going to sacrifice his son for the love of God, but God found a substitute, or rather gave him the sacrifice in the form of a ram, a huge ram, which is sacrificed. But God registered his love for him through the intentions of killing or sacrificing his own son. Okay. Kamba twali mu bigambo ebimu ebikwataho ensi yaitu n'okukora kusana habwokuba planet earth ensi enu kokungambireke karakwona nohali obwomezi notukomerera nokusanga ebimera byona nokusanga ebihangiro ebindi byona nebisolo ebindi byona ebikutunga omu maka nebiri mu bisaka omu kutunga omu maka tukweta domestic animals ebyo mu bisaka ebyo those are, I can't say bush animals, but they're wild animals, beasts, and many others. So, harmu enjojo, harmu entale, harmu edu, harmu empisi, harmu engo. Nebisolo ebindi byona byoso okutekerezaho. Harmu nebinyonyi, you know. Ebyo byona Mukama niyo yabihangire kandi yabiteeka mu nsi enu. Tosogenda okabisanga hansi endi yona, not on any other planet other than planet Earth. So that's why we refer to this Earth as Mother Earth, because it is the one where all production regarding life is found. We produce from here, we reproduce from here, we recreate from here, animals are from here, water is from here, land is here, soil is here, agriculture is here. Everything you can think about is on this planet. Nowhere else. What is existing elsewhere is something else, not what that we need in life. So this show, My Planet, was a well thought out theme or name for this show to indicate the greatness, the goodness, the importance, the valuable wealth that we have in this planet. Even the breath that we have, the air that we breathe in, oxygen, is made from here and naturally made and made by God through the plants. Yeah, so people who are visiting other planets do carry their oxygen, packed oxygen, you know. But here we are getting it free. We don't pack it anywhere. We don't even know, how to collect and pack it and keep it with us. But God provides it free to us. And therefore, if we have such a treasure which upholds our lives, we have every obligation, responsibility to protect nature that provides us with life, which is through oxygen. So that was the basis of establishing this show. That's the basis of establishing this show. Okay. That's it. Now I can proceed and share with you, on that basis, share with you the nature quote or slogan or quote of the month. Quote of the month, which I usually start with here after introduction. The quote of the month. Now I have chosen this quote of the month. I have a lot of them, but this afternoon I thought would do for us, because immediately after this show we shall move in to understand that we have had the World Environment Day, which we should have celebrated here. So it is related to this. So this show goes like, Earth is our home. Let us take care of it for ourselves and future generations. I repeat, Earth is our home. Let's take care of it for ourselves and the future generations. This earth is our home. We don't build in the air. We don't build anywhere else. Even if we built on water, it would be earth. Even if we built under this earth, it would be earth. Even if we built in the trees, it would be earth. So because those trees grow up on earth, that water is having the earth as its basis. So for that reason, we are right always when we say Mother Earth or planet Earth being our mother, our source of life. Yeah, our principal source of life is God because He's the one who created us. But sustainability of our lives is provided through the existence of planet Earth, and that's the reason we say Mother Earth. So this is our home. Nobody has intentions of destroying his home. Everybody works to protect, safeguard, ensure that his home is secure. So that being the reason that being the case, we have every reason to safeguard Mother Earth. We don't have to destroy it. How do we destroy it? It is obviously known by everybody more or less by destroying what is provided to sustain our lives. One of them is destroying the environment. And that environment I'm talking about cutting down the trees or the forests, drying up water sources, causing soil erosion, cultivating poorly, grazing poorly, and doing activities that intended to bring us money, but in the process, if we're not careful, we're destroying Mother Earth. So in the process, we're degrading, we're destroying, we're distorting Mother Nature, which provides us with life. And nobody would do those activities to destroy his home. And Mother Earth being our home, we have every responsibility or obligation to make sure that it is safeguarded, it is safe, it is taken care of. And that's why the letter says, Earth is our home. Let's take care of it for ourselves here today. For ourselves here today. We need it. We badly need it. We badly need it because without it, we cannot live. Because how? Besides oxygen, you can get oxygen and be alive, but you cannot sustain the life without food. And food is grown on this planet Earth. And actually it is from those elements, those components that make nature. The plants, the fruits, the seeds, the animals that we turn into meat or food, ghee, milk, and that stuff. But also the water that we take, that we use, that we drink, that we use for cooking, washing. So you can see the complexity of the components that God gave us to sustain our lives. So we need all this. But mark you, a time comes when we die. We individually die. When we grow to age, we die, or by accident, or by illness, or by anything. But there are those who keep the life going on. The generations that we produce, like for us who are living now, we have children, and our children are producing children who are our grandchildren, and our grandchildren are producing children who are grandchildren, and so on. And so those generations keep coming on, going off, meaning the generational period ends, other people continue living. When they expire, other people continue living. So it is that chronology, that kind of land that we must sustain. Those who are coming after us needed to find this environment safe, having provision for their lives. And so if we distort and destroy it, it means that we have killed the future generations by denying them good habitat, food, nutrition, water, fertile soils, cool environment, oxygen. So it's upon us, it is incumbent upon us to really feel obliged to make sure that this planet Earth is safeguarded. This one brings me to the fact that every year globally, since 1972-73, we commemorate, we remember and celebrate what we call World Environment Day, WED or WED, World Environment Day or International Environment Day, but we usually say World Environment Day. This day is celebrated or commemorated for reasons. But first of all, what is World Environment Day? This is a day when we remember that we have the world, which is Earth, planet Earth mainly, which we must keep, which we must cherish, which we must protect, which we must conserve for our own benefit, and that benefit is living or is life for the life today and the life to come, or for the future generations. So on this day, we do a number of activities. The most principal activities to remind ourselves through talks, discussions, messages on TV, like 40 TV, on radios, in newspapers and other channels, that it is incumbent upon us that we are obliged to protect Mother Earth because it gives us life. So, also number two, we get reminded that whatever activities we are doing, these activities should be sustainably preserving Mother Earth. Should not be activities to destroy nature, to destroy Mother Earth, because we need sustainable living. And so we use the resources that God gave us, but we make sure that we don't deplete, we don't destroy, we don't exhaust. We use but replenish those stores, if they are stores, but those resources, we make sure that they keep on the supply lane open. They keep on the supply lane open. So for the United Nations to introduce this idea of remembering this day every year or annually, they had seen that some sections of society in this world are destroying nature. And so it was important for United Nations to designate or gazette a day on the global calendar to make sure that on that day messages are shared, to make sure that we feel responsible for making sure that we safeguard Mother Nature. So this day is commemorated on every 5th day of the month of June every year. So this day was designated in 1972 in Stockholm Conference. Stockholm is a city belonging to the country called is it Denmark? Yeah. So yes, this day, no, Sweden. Stockholm is for Sweden. Yeah, Stockholm is for Sweden. In that city, representatives from different countries in the world under the umbrella United Nations organization met in Stockholm. Among the many principal items that they discussed was the preservation of nature, conservation of nature, protection of planet Earth. And so they instituted a program called United Nations Environment Program. United Nations Environment Program. UNEP is one of the major agencies of the United Nations organization in the world. Like we have World Health Organization, we have World Food Program, we have Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, we have many other agencies that we have. And so for me, while those ones are important, UNEP is the most important. UNEP is the most important because it makes sure that Mother Nature is preserved, is protected, is conserved. Because World Food Program gets food to supply to the needy in the world from cultivation that is carried out on this planet Earth, on the ground. And it's because that earth is preserved, that ground is there where to grow the food. And so that is the principal objective of UNEP, to make sure this land stays safe. Yes, so in 1973 was the first year to celebrate or to commemorate this day. 1972 was the day of founding it. Was the day of founding it or starting it or initiating it. Then the global commemorations or celebrations began in 1973 on the 5th day of the month of June, globally. So UNEP has regional offices in the world, continental offices. For the continent of Africa, or the region of Africa, the offices or headquarters of UNEP are in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, here in East Africa. Kenya is one of the partner states in East African Community, EAC, and is one of our closest neighboring countries, or closest neighbors in terms of countries next to us. It is in the eastern part of this country, just literally when you step one leg from Uganda's soil, you are stepping on Kenyan soil, or Kenya soil, in the east. So it is as close as that. We share the same boundary, we share the boundary in the eastern region of this country. And for them it is western, for sure. So that's where the headquarters of United Nations Environment Programs are situated. And in the country here we have some subsidiary offices, or a department relating to that. But also in the country here, we have a ministry, a fully-fledged ministry concerned with water and environment. They call it water and environment. I think they looked at water being one of the most important components of the environment, because like we usually say, water is life. So they singled out water among the many components that make environment to promote it the more, because without water you cannot cultivate, you cannot do what, you can. So water being a principal item among the elements of nature. So we have the Ministry of Water and Environment in the country, which also works with UNEP and other environment protection related agencies, organizations, institutions, foundations, communities, individuals, to make sure Mother Nature is safe. So this year, the commemoration, each year there is a country that is usually designated or chosen or elected to host the global event, this global event of World Environment Day. This time around, it is the Republic of Korea, that is South Korea, is the one that hosted the World Environment Day 2025 on the 5th of June. So every year, these celebrations marking this day has got a theme, a principle upon which discussions are made, messages are shared. The theme for this year was, is, and it will continue to be until next year when we designate another theme for that Environment Day 2026. But this year's Environment Day theme is BEAT, that is B-A-T, BEAT, plastic pollution, or stop plastic pollution, or do away with plastic pollution. Okay. Why plastics? There are many elements, there are many things that pollute or spoil our environment. To pollute is to spoil, to render a situation or a thing harmful or destructive. So plastics, we're talking about different types of plastics. Those materials that we commonly know as plastics include, here in the country, water bottles that are not glass, which are made of plastic. The plastic thing is the one that you can squeeze into any shape you want, or destroy it, or what. But its destruction is unique, it's difficult, unless you have really burnt it. But burning it up also is hazardous in a way, because the smoke that comes out of it is not good smoke. But plastic is something that you can make into any shape you need, either by squeezing it, some type of plastics, but also others by melting it on fire, or in heat, or on heat, and shape into something else. There are chemicals that are dangerous to our lives, to our cells, to our bloodstream. So plastics, we are talking about those water bottles, some cups, yes, some plastic cups are there, some polythene bags of paper, Buvera, of different types. All those are plastics. There are many types of plastics. Some chairs that we use in functions, on offices and other functions, some are plastic chairs. We have plastic tables. You know, if you are visiting in the city of Opoto, there are those friends of ours who give us financial services, MTN, Airtel, mobile money services. Most of the time you find their tables are plastic tables in most cases. Yeah. In different functions, those chairs you see decorated, most of them are plastic chairs, except in a few cases where we have other types of chairs. So plastics are all over the place. Why there is need to destroy or to beat plastics is that, one, if the chemical elements that make up plastics are eaten or are assimilated into our bloodstream, or assimilated in the water that we're taking or we are drinking, in the sauce, in the food, we get poisoned gradually. We get gradual poisoning. We may not immediately realize that. We may not immediately realize that, but those chemical elements go and infiltrate into our intestines, into our blood system, and over time, we suffer different types of cancers. Cancers has elements that are cancerous. Many things that we use in life have got challenges, but it is incumbent upon us how to safely use them. So plastic, first of all, if melted, if consumed in a way that is enabling it to have its elements or chemicals enter into our blood system, or our blood system, they are poisonous. They have some kind of cancer. That is one, but also two, these plastic materials, in most cases, do block drainage systems. So water cannot be freely moving, flowing its channel. And once water is tampered with in terms of blockages, then it's not evenly spread or supplied where it should go. Sometimes it is diverted into different directions, causing water flooding and the rest of that, but also denying the water flow to the areas that would need them most. So besides blocking water channels, these plastics do store water if they are thrown into the bush, into the drainage systems. When water collects inside it, some poisonous or hazardous insects do collect there and produce from there, like you can talk of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes need places where there is stagnant water, and one of the places where you can find stagnant water are the plastic bottles that are being thrown all over the place. But besides the plastic bottles, we have also polythene bags, which are plastic in nature. And so when they are thrown anywhere, water collects there, and these mosquitoes come and breed from there. And from there, they spring into the homes and places and other areas where there are people, and they sting them, and infect them with malaria, which is some kind of fever that we get through the biting of Anopheles mosquitoes. So it is because of the plastics that a breeding ground is created. But also, when these plastics go into soil, they don't, they're non-degradable. They don't rot. They don't decay. Therefore, they don't get turned into humus. No, they don't. So they remain the way they are. And therefore, they deny fertility of the soil at around that point. Nimba za plastic ebyo byonna tibijunda busobonaga bwitaka nibikaramu nibiretereza ebihuka kuzaaramu n'emibu kuzaaramu omusujja gw'emibu nigutukwata nitulwara n'ebintu ekusana biti kandi plastic ezo kakuba ogirya rundi oginywa nogiryota noginywota hari ebindi bisobora kwaga oburikuba nochumba nkaho bikaga binamu ebibazi ebinyakukora plastics ege ebimazi those are chemicals hati ebirugenda maizi ukagenda mukuru ukagenda byokulya hati urugenda bikali bimunambere bachumbe byokulya by'abantu bengeho bone mahoteli nka hagama gakweta mahoteli cyonka nosanga ngo nabafundikizo overa ebyokulya bimuna bahamo overa kandi overa unututuka yatutwegi erumu entuyegi rundi tutu nerwa mu veromu netamu byokulya rundi mu mukubi hatite netuli kyonka over time tanka kurwala endwala takwetegereza ngwenda nenduma manya nisasa manya ninkoraki hati obutu obu those chemicals buba butahire musagama yitu mu mibiri yitu tuntutunga za kokoro estalism nko kungambire plastics zina types nyingi tuine bikopo tuine amacupa tuine vera tuine papura tuine meza tuine ntebe n'ebintu bindi so ebi byona kakote bintu bikozesa omulingo gugamba ngo tibyararanga no kwijja kutubera bya kabi nso tukozesa bitu ebikiro bwingi tukiza kukozesa kunyweramu no kuliramu actually mentagambire sahani kuli hati wekagusa abwaki batakora esafulia za plastic hako kuba tasobora gitamuro neyaga hati okwago korole ebigite ebirikugere ebi birumo ebibazi bibi ebirikweta chemicals nibe bitukora kubi so hati wera utakusobora kukora esafulia ya plastic agiteka muru neyaga hati nikimanisa ngo nokwocho kundi kuona nikusobora kwagisa plastic hati okwocho kwa amaizi agatumire kuine ko kuletera plastic ejo obutobwayo kutaha mu maizi ago hati terukwagira direct gamba ngo yayaga yabaho hati kakutamu amaizi agarukoje ne Europe nayo ne Europe hati korobo kutwamanisa ngo yajaga yatandika kugera nango hati okurukuba ne Europe obu obutobwayo bunurugamu nubutamu maizi kadaga maizi oruganywa nigaleta obulemezi mu musagama yambo mezwa mu bihabya mutima kwa hati tandika kutunga kokoro estalism so hati nicyo kitabiri cyamagezi okunyweraga ebirukwoche mu bintu bya plastic kuliraga ebirukwoche mu bintu bya plastic sahani za plastic ebikope bya plastic okubikozesa mu kulya okiramuno ebyokulya ebirukwoche rundi byokunywa ebirukwoche so ebe nibyo ebimu ebisokwazaho habwa kintu ekambisibwa okuherekereza plastics za kabi nambere tuli so ekirecho buli hanga munsi erinya kuli member lino bwa member mu kitongole kya mahanga getereine bajaguze ekirecho na Uganda erum. This day is annually commemorated by every UN member country. Every UN member country commemorates this day on the 5th of June annually. Uganda inclusive. But unfortunately, this time around, for sure we did not celebrate this day, that day. As a country, we did not prioritize it. I think there are reasons the country can give, but for me, whatever reason it is, a day on its day is a day of that day. Because even when we postpone and celebrate it another day, the attitudes of people, majority of the people's attitude will have shifted. They know the day came and went. It passed by. So it will be recollecting, trying to remember it on that day, but not with 100% commitment to internalizing it in our brains, in our minds, in our thinking. So, that kind of postponement is not good for us, it's not good for the population to really receive the message at the right time. Anytime you get the message, it is the right time, yes, but it's most appropriate, especially when there is a day designated or gazetted or appointed to do that. I'm sure the country has set a day, I've just forgotten, has set a day when we shall commemorate World Environment Day 2025, but not on the 5th of June, which went by because today it is 8th of June. So when the country is commemorating it or not, regions in the country should be commemorating it. Regions in the country should be commemorating it. Unfortunately, where I'm sitting in the city of Fort Portal, I didn't hear, I didn't see, I didn't notice celebrations of this day. I didn't notice celebrations of this day. Also, we are surrounded by Kabarole district. Nor did they celebrate this day. But also in the neighboring districts of Kamwenge. Well, I cannot talk about other districts where I have not checked. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. But at least I know of the two areas, Fort Portal City and Kabarole district, there were no commemorations of World Environment Day 2025. Maybe these officers are planning to do that in the near future or in the distant future. I really don't know, but it's not a good thing. We should be able to do things at the right time, regardless of the scarcity of resources and the rest of that, but at least we should have some other programs that could really bring out the message that this day means this, and on this day we share various messages. So I thought at this point in time, maybe a little later, before we go for a short break, let me just introduce one other idea, which I think we shall discuss as we go along. After the short break that I'm about to invite, or to cause my colleagues to offer, when we come back, we shall look at another very important thing that took place. 2025, State of the Nation Address by His Excellency the President. Uganda's President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, gave a State of the Nation Address. And that was done just recently. Actually, on the 5th of June, on the 6th of June is when he gave the State of the Nation Address. We shall look at some key elements in the State of the Nation Address after this short break that I'm going to cause to happen. In a few moments' time, we shall be back to discuss these matters. Let us take a short break and don't go away.
Fort TV, Ikara Osemerirwe.
Creative Factory presents Binyama in the Woods on 8th June 2025. Celebrating nature and tourism. Don't miss activities like laid back, Nyama Choma, campfire, DJ mixes.
Your feel-good music right here.
artist performances, poets, photo shoots, face paintings, video games, and many others. Entrance for early bird will be 20k, 25k on the gate. The venue will be Toro Botanical Gardens in Boma. For more information or bookings, call us on 0700 420903 and 0702 638101 or 0776 377803. Being Nyama in the Woods is proudly powered by Fort TV and Padiman Concepts.
Fort TV. Stay entertained.
Fort TV, stay entertained. Welcome back from that short break to refresh ourselves, our minds, our bodies. So we are back to discuss something very important. Wampuliriza abalungi abakundora Fort TV nkyali Superhost Hamilton ntekaniza niyo my planet kandi muntekanize tubaza ebintu bingi muno ntubigamiza hali nyina itwensi yenu kugirinda girolera kurungi nuko naye sole kutulinda kutetukwetaga kira muno roro bomeze byokuli byokunywa na buli kirungi cyonna kandi ngamba butoso bunjahana na handi hona ngubusayo ense zinyakoro mu mwanya aho tukweta planets mu mwanya aho saho erikwingana enu kuba nemigaso abukubenu yekulinda obomezi wetu n'obomezi bwa buli kintu cyonna handi oko obomezi nkabuno tebuliyo tubertakagenze kumuraho mbere maze kubagambira ngo turagaruka nitujya kubazaho orubazo orwahirweyo omwebembezi w'ihanga ebiro bibiri bingwire akahayo rubazo rwali rukuru muno okutukonyera okumanya omwaka gumuhati okurugata balisa biki bigenzera maiso biki bikorwa biki bitani bikorwa biki bikorwa hati kandi biki kujya korwa kusuna ko maiso nibiyo tagenze kurungi omulingo nkogo so kinu entekanize enu eri mukeragire kure kihanga lya Uganda ekyarabibwe cyatandika gukora mu mwaka gwa 1995 ekeragire kino kure kihanga cyetwa constitution abakibagira bakakibaga mwaka gwa 1994 kukibaga kiteka kukitaho kikabaho kukinganiza kutamukena kiri bikwetagisa kandi ka generally hati kinganizwa kurungi mwaka gwa 1995 cyarabibwaho cyaturuka cyatandika gukora nati nje tugenderaho hati omusura ya 11 omusura ya 11 obukiragire icyo akacweka kukubanza nika obujunanisibwa mukuru w'ihanga okubaza kubaliza ihanga ebirugenda maiso byona bikwetagisa kubazibwa mukuru w'ihanga bibaza in what we call the State of the Nation Address. State of the Nation Address. So hati akaba nabaliza orukurato orwekuminarum orukurato rw'ihanga the 11th Parliament of Uganda kutandika kurgatandika koma abakurasi mukurato rw'ihanga enkurato ezakikara runo rwekuminarum ekintu kumanisa nkiringo tukoma abakurasi bakurata kumala emyaka 5 hati emyaka 5 bwehwaye uruntu gamba rukurato rumu tukoma abandi bagarukayo rundi bonyene abamuhali bagarukayo emyaka 5 hati oruba rukurato rundi umulingo nkogo hati kumanisa itatu twakake enkurato enkuru ziyanga tindugambe kireke barkwikara kuhanura nangwa ningamba emyaka 5 geba ko amazire tubabara nkokurato rumu tuga 11th Parliament ebigambe bimurutore tukugaya kurungi abokuba Parliament abarugamba rukurato rumu abandi bagamba meeting abandi bagamba when people have come together to discuss and go tikini cyecho murutoro Parliament rukurato rw'ihanga beitu bagira nkoko bakibaza nkoko bakisobora nkoko bakikora hati orubazo runo bakaba abakuru abali besoroize nababaliza kyoka nabaliza ihanga lyona of course nambara kwekaliriza so kwikara wenka kawekali nabakuru abandi kandi nabakurasi abo ali nabo nababaliza abokuba nubo bakwenda babantu nubo bakomera abantu akujya garukayo kubaliza abantu mukuru hange byabalize nebindi bi yokira abakiri ngo abamalita tubaterozire kantu bulire kuraba television ka Fort TV na television ezindi na radio agandi bayitu budunanizibwa bwabakura sibano hanyuma mukuru wihango bwabaza kugarukayo mu bantu babo aba bakuratira the people they represent okubaha amakuru gano agarugire mu rubazo rwa mukuru wihanga. So this afternoon I'm introducing what we call the State of the Nation address done by the Ugandan president just 2 days ago, how the country is standing in various spheres. I'm going to elaborate, to outline the areas he talked about, and with a brief elaboration here and there. So I'm talking about the State of the Nation Address 2025, which the head of state delivers before the reading of the subsequent financial year. At the end of this month of June, our financial year in Uganda will have ended, the 2024-2025 financial year. Beginning from 1st of July 2025, we're going to begin a new financial year, which we call 2025-2026 financial year. Because our financial year begins on 1st of July of that current year and ends on the 30th of June of the subsequent year or the following year. So, the Minister of Finance organizes this information for us. What the country will need in terms of resources to run the national programs. The country will need resources, especially in this aspect we are talking about financial resources, because it is the finances that procure all the services that we need or we get. All the things that we use in life, they are procured except of course oxygen, which we receive freely from God through the environment or Mother Nature. But of course, scientifically, oxygen is organized, and that's why sometimes it is given to sick people or patients in hospitals. But in this case, I'm talking about all that we use in the country procured using money. Like here in Fort TV, for example, the machinery that we have here, the machines in the ordinary English, but in technical English I can talk of the machinery, not machinery. I know the difference personally. The machinery that we are using here, the microscope, the telescope, no. Cameras, yeah, and all these other gadgets you can see here, those who are watching in Fort TV, in the studio. The chair, the tables, the roads that we walk on or we drive on, we ride on, the buildings that we have in the country like factories, like schools, and other places including churches and so on, hospitals and the rest of that. All those are done by using money. So the president is obliged constitutionally to give the picture of the country over a period of 1 year. So he does it every year. And once this one is done, the speech is done, subsequently, we are presented with a budget speech. A budget speech has got 2 components mainly: the source of the resources and the amounts that is needed, but also where these resources are going to be spent, or spent on what, or where we spend this money. Therefore, income and expenditure are the 2 major components that make a budget. And so, in this country, where, as we shall be seeing a little later, 2025-2026 national budget will be presented to the country, to the population on the 12th of this month this year. This will be this coming Thursday. The Minister of Finance, actually the President is the Minister of Finance, but he delegates a minister in that line to do his work. So, in the speech of His Excellency the President, which he made at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds, one of the things that I noticed, there were some media houses that were denied entry, that were not accredited to cover the State of the Nation address. These media houses include Daily Monitor, include NTV Uganda, include NBS. Fundamentally, I may not know the reasons why, but the general reasons that come through are that His Excellency the President is not happy with these media houses, with these papers. Daily Monitor is a daily, is a paper, yeah? A newspaper for that matter, that they don't rate well about him. They usually don't rate well about him. That's the allegations I hear. Also about his political party, NRM, about his government in general. So he thinks they're not a friendly paper. They're not a friendly media conduit, media channel. And so he feels like, they should keep away from my functions. The same goes for NTV, the same goes for NBS. But for me, I really don't know. I'm not relegating the president's opinion or those people around him, their opinion, about their negative opinion about these two media channels, but really I see the national information on NTV, on NBS, Daily Monitor. I mean, I really don't know, but let me make it this simple statement that they were not accredited to cover this. I observed that with concern because I work for media houses, but ours could be accredited to do that, to cover the thing. But I don't know, but I'm trying to show you. So we have a challenge as media institutions in the country, that those that are not popular with His Excellency and his teams, but what do you do? So the President fulfilled this constitutional obligation of Article 101, Clause 1, the Constitution of Uganda of 1995. He emphasized on 10 key areas that have been given attention as priorities. He has been working on, or the government has been working on for that matter, that they will continue working on even in the subsequent financial year, and other components as well. Let me now briefly outline these 10 fields, 10 areas, 10 priorities the President put forward for our own consumption. I think at this point I will be mixing the languages, English and Renyono, so that my fellow ordinary citizen here can be able to pick those who are not picking this language I'm speaking, which is English. The first one is peace and security. Ebyokulinda mukuru w'ihangu wakanakorora bazori jweri akakifuara nkengiga nkuru muno. Akakituru kya kengiga nkuru muno ngwihanga lya Uganda lize ni kwa kyoneke kusoboka okulinda abantu n'ebintu byabo. Safeguarding and protecting people and their property. Omwihanga munda hali abasuma n'abantu abandi abanyagi abasokutwala ebintu by'abantu, but also hamutano gwitu n'amahanga gandi kandi nahatali hamutano gwitu honka baitu nokuyongera ku mahanga gandi kurora ngo tigatutahira tigaturwanisa tigatuburanganiza tigatuhwerekereza. Ekyo mukuru w'ihanga nakigambaho kandi neitha ukirubwinge urukolo wamana norora ngo government ya Uganda in this direction erenga kukora cyone kirikusoboka generally no kiraba kiringu ntumanye haroho ebikale byo munambere security etakumara kurungi na hano mu rubuga rwa Fopoto mu division zino na handi mu district Kabarore na handi baitu generally nkihanga president ekintu kibyo kwerinda na kitwara kikuru kulinda abantu n'ebintu byabo ebisigere nabyo no bimanya ko kubiri na security tambere ubundi na kutalibaniza tebaburamu but definitely on discussion kakwa twintu hanura twinsobora gamangu tungire mu amani mukuru ihanga yongere mu amani government yongere mu amani bintu byo kwerinda hokote na bino ntekaliza za zogenda bayiso zino za PDM naki mbikale bimu abantu nibagulia nkoko abasubani basitwara nibagulia mpuna abasubani bazibu nibakora ke embuzi nchukimu so norangu security harulengoro nebanebura but generally the country is secure generally secure and the people are secure kandi obu ite Uganda tuhingura haho hata kulinda Uganda yoka chonka tugenda kukonyera na mahanga gandi ka South Sudan ka Somalia Democratic Republic of Congo na handi ekya kabiri mukuru ihanga kyatera hamani akabazaho industrialization. Priority number 2 is industrialization, making factories so that Ugandans can get employment, can get the items that they need. We produce, we get products that we make ourselves here internally. Hata hicho mkuru hanga kakiwazaho ngu Uganda ni Rwanda kwa kusobora already ngu ina makora getereo kani Rwanda nukuta makora gandi nukatungira abanya Uganda mirimo tutuke bintu bingi kandi mungiga ya kasatu nabazaho tukuba tukize bintu bingi omanye ngiga zinistahira mungana nisobora kuba tuine bingi byo kusubuza abantu abandi amahanga gandi gaheru to export ebintu byetu kubiguza heru mu mulingo gunya kusemerire because bituletere sente nyingi. Number 3 priority is export promotion and import substitution. Tulete bike kurga heru etukurora ngo tutukusoko bikora hano baitu tuturike bingi kutwara heru etusobora kuturukya nuko bikatuletera sente nyingi kujja gukora ebindi hano kandi na sente nyingi okugura ebindi mahanga gaheru kubireta hano ebyo takusobora kwekora nikiba kiri kikuru muno kukanyisa ebintu ebyokozesa hano baitu kiramo nebyo kusindika heru nuko ka turukya sente ntaito kugura ebya heru kubireta munuka hano obwira tukujja kunyikiriza kugenda mu bujwira hano baitu sande rkwija ninja kongereza bintu bintu habo ko haliyo nebindi program ezindi government ezakora mu ihanga ezikusemera kubaza ezazokire mu rubazo rwa mukuru wihanga ekyakana strengthening the private sector abantu akukore yabo abasubuzi etongole talbya government na nebitongole bindi bikole emirimo erikugasiri hanga kuturikya ebintu makoro factories nebintu bindi abasubuzi kira muno bali mu private sector abo nagamba ngu eryo igufa lya amani eri hanga kizirwa mugongo rwihanga utazi hanga lino nasagika muno aba private sector abasubuzi na nebitongole bindi ebikole mirimo erikwekozesa eyabyo akona bisagika hanga ekyakana that was fourth ekyakatano increasing market access locally regionally and internationally okanyisa bine turukora nbyetaga katale kururango haba hemgisa ne mahande yona netebwa kururango turukora tibyadiba hano byatunga katale hatika subukano cyo kurora mu hanga ya Sudan South Sudan especially nibagura muno amata kurga hano enyama kurga hano nebyo kuli ebindi so hati cyo kurora ne nyama etembere inya gura muno mukubi gutembere habuchoko mukubi gutembere kirera sente nyingi okira katumanyira kusoma kenyuma hata katale karo mahanga gaterina mahanga gandi East African community tuli mahanga msanju mnane around there Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Burundi akona katale nsobora kugira tuturkize nebitunga katale nebigendo kusente nyingi nizija no mbutalo bundi ka komesa ka SADC na mbutalo bundi regionally based kandi no mahanga gandi kabindi na handi Malaysia, Indonesia na mahanga gandi akabajungu. Number 6 mukuru hanga engiga ya lesirendi ekaberi skilling the youth, establishing zonal industrial hubs okutabikaro na mbere ensingato wasoktenekerwa mu binte by'emikono hano tukarantura Kabarole na Fopoto ngutu etaga industrial park ite tutugine hano chonke kichoka keno ni mpura eri cyako kuchegeko na hektaire maybe nka ho kuchenjojo na binte bindi nja kuhondera ndo beitu tukaba tunihiziwe industrial park hano tukagitungaga tulikitunga timanye beitu mu region yenu harimo ibikaro nambere singate bakutendekerwa nko kubutuko oku rundi ntoroko hari kikaro na chenja joko kijuge kula le kikaro ngana chaka chegego kasoko hari kikaro hati ihanga liona mukuru ihanga nagamba ngu natamwa amani kurule bikaro kebi byabaho kandi bibero handi neja kuongera bindu bibeho singato batendekwe batunga bikora bakole nimirimo yabo batunga entasha batunga sente aba mahalibo baleke kugenda kozesiwa miringo etaliemu kuja kuleta usasamaro obuno kwekereza omezi gwabe kyamusanju mukuru ihanga kabazaho muno ensonga ya okukanyisa emisoro kusoroza emisoro nyingi mu ihanga hataruho okuhumiza rundi okutabajwa rundi kusaliza aba bakusorozebwamu emisoro rundi abahiba omusoro kera muno hatali kulemesa businesses rundi bosuzu gena mais. He's talking about increasing revenue collection by Uganda Revenue Authority URA without hurting businesses. Echo ya kikuru muno umwaka guno emisoro guno gurigenda kuhwa omusoro mwingi kusorozibwe kandi bacyahitaga kusoroza omusoro mwingi kurugamba subuzi nabona bakole emirimo y'ebyentasha betatali kubalemesa kukole emirimo yabo no kugenda mu maiso betenokira abakiri ngo biceke bitali bimu abasubuzi nibarangira hano hari abo emisoro n'abantu baburikiro nture emisoro biki beitu iyo government ne hura kurungi abo emisoro oburigisoroza nyingi tunga sente nyingi zo kukole emirimo no turaba tukimanyire ngu nyingi halizo naso kandi niziribwa. Number 8, expenditure rationalization by restructuring government. Government ya Uganda mu ngiga ya banana egama ngo ekatayentekaniza zo kukesha enturiki ya sente kuraba mukuteraniza ebitongole bitali ya government bikaba byenaganagire katugambe ministry mu ina mu bitongole nkamukaga musanju byenaganagire oku katugambe ke cyo kulima no bulisa n'ebinte bindi aso kusanga ngoko haliyo ekebyo mwani kuna ali ekebya pamba kuna ali ekebya chai kuna ali ekebya hata government byone byo kongera ebisoroze yebiteka munda mu ministry zabyo nambere bya Zaire nambe kusemera kuba kwate icyo nikongera kurango entasha enturuki ati abanyingi kuranja sente oku hati ngo ne tunga sente okurwa mutekaniza nkezo nisikola emirimo etaliemu ekyamwenda fighting corruption kurwanisa obulwenguzi obusuma bwo kwiba sente za government ne kwata bya government ngu nibakora cyoneke kusoboka ngo hate babukeheze mu mulingo gumundo gundi no kira bakiri abamu abantu nkanyowe nabandi nticyarora ngo bucyalo mu wewe bucyali bwa mani nwetaga kurwana kwingi nwetaga kwekamba kwingi nwetaga kwehayo kwingi no kuranisa kwingi hakwa terora abamu habasuma mu bitongole bya government nanka hona tibakagarurire sente zibibire ne kwate bindi hata bukuba norwanisa osuma nkabunu ntubantu semererwa kakuba tura sente nyingi nizigaruka abantu bane babagaruza sente yego haroho section ezimu nambere babagaruize bintu yebe na sente beitu abakiro wingi no cyale bugana ne balyaptara na sente zino zo mu bo musoro beitu obule mu bunu semera gumzamu no burwana hawo kwate ndo no tugenda mu karuru abantu ne bajja kubane baturucha sente nyingi muno kugura abakomi no kwa bahururu. Number 10, ensuring that the remaining 33% of the homesteads still practicing subsistence agriculture joins the money economy. Tine mwecheka asatu na bisatu bya abantu mu Uganda hano abali kubi muno mbintu byobunaku ne batyayo merera hakafuka kulimo bokulya bitaito bokulya no bitaito muno bokutwara mukatali abantu abeki ebi bicheka bikoto asatu na bisatu hakikumi kumanise bicheka nkaga na musanja hakikumi nobo bali mu bya kukora sente na binte binna na mukuri hanga nagama ngo mwaka guno gwe byensimbe gurkwija lwete kongera amani ku Rwanda kurora ibicoka bino asatu na bisatu by'abantu ba Uganda n'abatamu mirimo yera baletera sente atari kulimira enda yonka rundi omuntu akonka. My time is threatening to run out, but I'll move as swiftly as possible. Hati ebyo obu ndatungo mgiso guni nja kubigarishaho betaro nebindi bitahani bikorwa netekaniza zindi zikujja kugumizamu nesikorwa kusagika okumikya entashi abantu ba Uganda ensinganto abakazi abantu na ulemu n'abantu abandi bona the general population nambere hali n'ebicweka bino asatu na bisatu by'abantu ba Uganda ebizimu hantekaniza no hali parish development model PDM abo buli bantu bona beterine ebitebe byabo kukola emirimo etaliyemu betali omeningamba ensinganto kubaha obukugu nake mu ngiga ya mukaga nimanyisa ensinganto kubegesa ebyo kukora amasoke kubegesa ebyo kubeija kubegesa ebyo kuombeka kubegesa ebyo kukora ebyamaizi kubegesa ebyamasanyarazi kubegesa ebyo kwokya ebyoma kubegesa ebyo kulima n'ebintu ebindi nkebi ebyo ndugambe hata mu bitongole bya government ebimu nka Jesse Joint Effort Save Environment ebitongole bindi nibikongera government nabyo actually okwegesa ensinganto bano okukora omulimo kaguni ngwaza kutabara kya Jesse abo omulimo go burungi n'ebitongole bindi ebikora muntekanizeno hati deka malire na kano ebindi nja kusigayo akarugamba ngu ntugenda kusomerwa embalira ebya sente ezirakora mwaka gwe bya sente gwe bya simbi abihanga lino ogwe 2025 2026 2025 kuruga mu kwezi kwa musanju okumara mu December 2026 kuruga mu kwezi kwa kubanza kumara mu June 30 hati yago ngamezi 12 rugo mwaka gwe bya sente hano mu Uganda kutandika June kibanza rather July kibanza gwa June 30 guno gwe 2025 ngujja kuwa 30 kwezi kuno kutandika mwaka mushaka hati guno gurukwica nibaja kutusomera embalira sente zikwetagwa kwa emirimo yihanga abo mwaka gwe byensimbi ogurukwica nibaja kutusomera embalira eno which we call the national budget presentation or reading on 12th of June 2026 12 ebyo kwezi kuno mwaka guno twetekanize okuhura mukuru wihanga na twekyaho embalira ebya sente kyoka nakozesa minister kwa twa bya sente no kukorana kuihanga the Minister of Finance Planning and Economic Development Honorable Matia Kasaicha kyoka kino nakikora mu ibara lya president anyakuli minister mukuru webyensimbi tatsokutera ngoma akongera akazina so nabweki obujunanzibo obu abusinike omulimo gwa guhumuntu gwa gukora baitu asigaza obujunanzibo halibu hati mu bigufu Uganda lita kusemerera kusoroza sente zitalhansi ya trillions mu rutoro tantu turwana nekigambo kinu abantu abandi bakyeta amabara mengi muno kyoka nyo nkyaketa obutabarwa no turaba tuzibara etegambo kamene nkyakweso igambo obutabarwa akwa nizo sente zikiraye mu bwingi zitusobora kubazaho hano mu Uganda ezitusoroza actually na harulengo rwensi yona nugo muhendo kutakizire obwingi kirukwetwa trillions a trillion harum 1,000 billions so ntuja kwetaga trillions nsanju nemu no kuchoka mwenda ntuja kwetaga 71.9 trillion shillings for the financial year 2025-2026. They will tell us the sources, they will tell us the expenditure lines. But out of these, almost half of it, that is 36 trillion shillings, should be coming from the local revenue centers, local revenue collections. By Uganda Revenue Authority will collect this money from within the country, from Ugandans. So the balance will be coming in from various donor agencies, donor countries, or development partners who support us in terms of our budget. So this is something important for us to note or to appreciate. So that budget will be presented to us by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the 12th of June this year. Ningweza kuwasima inywe na bagoza Fort TV abo kutururaga na kutuhura mu ntekaniza zone zinakuba kandi kila mundo mu ntekaniza ene kwetwa My Planet na nyuwe super host Hamilton. Kakuwa nimba ntali mu studio hanu nogweza kumanya bikiraho umuhereza wa Fort TV nosobora kunteraha kasimo runo sinkana message ya WhatsApp rundi ya email rundi SMS inamba yage yesimo standard 0 yeah so
Fort TV, Ikara Osemerirwe.
Creative Factory presents Binyama in the Woods on 8th June 2025. Celebrating nature and tourism. Don't miss activities like lake bar, Nyama Choma, campfire, DJ mixes.
Your feel-good music right here.